You've probably heard statistics on the pay gap between men and women, and national research shows that on average, women make 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. And companies seeking contracts with the city of Albuquerque will now receive a 5% preference in the application process if they can prove equal pay for men and women in comparable positions. Correspondent Megan Kamerick sat down recently with Martha Burke, political psychologist and author of Your Voice, Your Vote, The Savvy Women's Guide to Power, Politics, and the Change We Need, to talk about a new wage equity ordinance.
Dr. Martha Burke, thank you for joining us on New Mexico in Focus.
My pleasure, as always.
You chaired the mayor's pay equity task force. Let's just start. Why do we need an initiative on pay equity in the city of Albuquerque?
Well, we need it not only the city of Albuquerque, but most every city, actually nationwide. Women are still making 77, 78 cents on the dollar to men, and that is for full-time, year-round work. And so equal pay has been the law since 1963, and it's still women's #1 concern. So we've got to push it along some way. You know, you do have people saying it'll take care of itself. It'll go away naturally. Well, it hasn't gone away since '63, and that's a couple of careers in anybody's book. So we need something to push it along.
Now, there are people who argue that there is no serious wage gap anymore, that the differences are due to occupations, positions, education, job tenure, hours worked per week. They also point to women taking time off to have children. So they would disagree with you that there's a serious wage gap.
Most of them are probably guys.
No, there are some women too.
There are some women, that's right. There is at least one, at least one. What they're talking about, those are all factors that affect pay. But when you look at the pay gap and how it's calculated by the U.S. Department of Labor, again, it is for full-time, year-round work. So you can't say, well, women take off or they're only working part-time. That's not the comparison. I will say, though, Megan, that the Institute for Women's Policy Research in Washington has done research that says if you take off, say, a year for the birth of a child, it takes 15 years or longer to catch up. So that is a problem because employers don't want to start you off where you left off. Mm-hmm. But other than that, education, women outnumber men in college now. And female college graduates are entry level, still making less.
So under these new rules, any company that wants to seek a contract with the city of Albuquerque must submit forms showing gender pay gaps. So is the city trying to set pay rates for private businesses?
No, the city isn't even asking what you pay women and what you pay men. The city has constructed a set of forms where employers can put in their data and put in what they're paying each employee, and then it goes through what I call a meat grinder, but it's a bunch of formulas. And it spits out their job categories and the gap between women and men in those categories. Now, very important, the city cannot and does not take the position that a pay gap that favors women is okay and one that favors men is not okay. The city's position is if it's the same work, same qualifications, and down the line, there should be equal pay. So what comes out on that form is, let's say, administrative worker, pay gap X%, but it doesn't say whether it's in favor of women or men.
So under these rules, the companies with gender pay gaps of 10% or less get a 5% bonus on their overall score when they're trying to become a contract.
Yes, they do.
Or applying for a contract. Will they be excluded from competing for a contract if they don't meet the bar?
They won't be excluded. I sort of wish that it was a little bit stronger and said, you know, you get more points the closer you get to parity, and that could happen in the future. But right now, it is a 5% bonus if you come within 10% of parity. And for some of those reasons you mentioned earlier, there may be new hires. Someone may have gotten an additional certification. So there are factors that do affect it. We think 10% is a very high bar. We've already seen data, preliminary data, that show in Albuquerque some pay gaps as high as 40%.
So are the companies possibly concerned about worker privacy. How is the city addressing those concerns?
Workers' names or individual salaries are not turned in, so privacy is not an issue. That was one of the things the task force made sure to take care of in the planning.
So this is why we are at 10%, because there's some extenuating circumstances.
There
That's why
always are some, and it could, as I said, women now have more education. It could favor men as well as women. Someone asked me, well, isn't that just saying 10% is an acceptable level of discrimination? No, there is no acceptable level of discrimination.
Do companies risk sharing sensitive information with their competitors?
No.
I do. Okay.
Again, their pay scales are not published.
Okay. So some have criticized New Mexico for a perception of not being business friendly. Is it possible this might contribute to that perception?
Well, I don't think so. I think the data actually show that these tax breaks and this sort of reporting, which businesses have not complained so far, and it's been out there for a couple of months as a preliminary information so they know what's coming. They're not complaining. Business friendly means an educated workforce primarily. It means an infrastructure to get people to work. Something like this is way over at the margin. But again, Megan, I just want to emphasize what we're talking about is city contractors. That's your tax dollars. Okay. And the city is not telling mom and pop over here that run let's say a bakery that doesn't get a city contract, they're not part of this. It's how are our tax dollars being spent with businesses that are fair to workers or not.
So what's the ultimate goal with this, to expand it maybe county, statewide?
Well, we've had a similar initiative at the state level since Bill Richardson was governor. However, it has been weakened and is not being enforced at the level it was intended, so it's sort of sitting there, waiting for a governor that cares about it, if you will. The goal is it's twofold, of course, to raise pay for those that are not being paid fairly, but it's to get businesses sensitive to their own practices. You'd be surprised how many businesses don't look at this stuff. And maybe they have 50 employees and 2 managers that do the hiring, and unconscious bias can come in and people don't even realize it till the numbers are right there in front of them. So we're also going to certify businesses that do well as pay equity certified or good on the issue, leaders on the issue. That should help them in getting more business, in their PR, their advertising. It's going to be a win-win.
You know, this was a bipartisan effort. There are very few things we can say today in our country that are bipartisan efforts. Why do you think it had support from different sectors across the aisle, as they say?
Well, I have always said that the guy or gal at the top is key in this kind of initiative. The guy at the top in Albuquerque happens to be a Republican. He happens to be married to a businesswoman, and I'm sure he would like to be sure that women-owned businesses can compete fairly, and this is the kind of thing that will help. I don't think it's any secret. Many people identify me with the Democratic Party, but what I say is I'm fiercely partisan for women. And so I'm going to work with whichever side of the aisle is going to advance the cause of pay equity and other things for women. And I think families are now realizing too, this is not a conservative, liberal issue. This is a family issue. If someone isn't making what she or he should be, it hurts the whole family, hurts the economy in general.
Well, Martha, thank you for coming and talking about this.
My great pleasure. Thank you.